Chaldeum is free of Belial and his lies. Yet Azmodan remains. With his armies staged in Ariat Crater, the ancient bulwark of Bastion's keep is all that keeps him in check. I will not let that mighty fortress fall.
We arrive at Bastion's Keep, northern tip, after the 10th day of siege from Azmodan, staged from his base in the Ariat Crater. The keep's own structure is damaged from the explosion of the World Stone, and as we approach the Archangel Tyrael, as he overlooks the carnage, he says,
"The keep's defenses cannot hold. Its soldiers are scattered, fleeing before Azmodan's onslaught, which rushes forth from Ariat Crater. Should the keep fall, Azmodan will claim the Black Soulstone. If he does, there will be no hope for this world."
It will stand. I must rally the defenders.
Light the signal fires, and show these soldiers that we are not yet defeated. Salvation has arrived. Go, you are needed below.
As Tyrael rallies the forces below, lighting the signal fires once more in the once thought impregnable fortress, we turn to him and ask all he knows of Azmodan, our newest enemy, his bid for the Black Soulstone, and how Tyrael will battle him now as a mortal.
A few thousand of your years ago on a distant battlefield, I stood over Azmodan, sword raised to deliver the death blow.
You faltered.
No. One of my brethren, Ardleon, called for help.
And you saved him instead.
Yes. And now Azmodan threatens all I hold dear once again.
You stayed true to your beliefs. There was no other way.
I see that now. I wish my angelic brethren felt the same.
How is it different being mortal?
I will die, of course.
Granted, but
that is the difference. When you are mortal, every moment is precious. Everything matters. It is exhilarating. Of the many things I find intriguing about humans, the greatest is their endless thirst for knowledge. Angels believe that everything there is to know is written in the scroll of fate. Therefore, curiosity is not a common angelic trait. Ironically, my suspicions have been confirmed. Angels do not, in fact, know everything. Seeing the world through mortal eyes has given me much to ponder. The Black Soulstone was created to be an improvement over the original 3. They were crafted to contain single demons, but Kul intended his to hold many. But the Black Soulstone is flawed and cannot contain that many demons for long. We must capture Azmodan within it and shatter it, lest all these evils be reborn. I knew Zoltan Kul was special from the moment I met him. He had a keen mind for the arcane. During the hunt for the 3, he was the bearer of the Soulstones, and must have studied them intently. Though it is an aberration, the Black Soulstone is a testament to his genius.
Speaking of the Soulstone, we realized that if it is in fact unstable, that Leah must still be hard at work containing the demons. We head down the stairs and into the armory and witness Leah struggling against Azmodan's own brethren, fighting to break free of their containment.
The Black Soulstone's getting hotter, straining against me. They're whispering to me from inside.
The demons within seek escape. Only your power can keep it from splitting apart, my daughter. It's a heavy burden, but the fate of the world lies in your hands.
Yes, Leah can handle this, although it will be very hard on her.
Leah, the stone is fighting you. Are you okay?
It's getting more difficult, but it's nothing I can't handle.
The demons war and rage to escape their imprisonment. Their fury will only increase over time. Leah is very brave, but we'd best hurry before her strength fails.
Of course. Do not worry, Leah. We will be swift.
Witnessing Leah's struggle is difficult, and We can only imagine what it's doing to her poor mother. We then turn to Adria and assure her that the Lord of Sin's reign shall be short, and she rebukes.
Azmodan's defeat is at hand.
Only fools celebrate victory before the battle's begun. Along with Belial, Azmodan has ruled the ravening hordes of the burning hells for over 3 centuries. His cunning is beyond imagining.
Well, beyond yours, perhaps.
Sensing Adria's not really a fan of our sarcasm in their time of need, we then head into Bastion Keep's stronghold on our journey to light the signal fires and see the people are in dire straits.
Someone's got to light those signal fires. Just not me.
Tyrael's lighting of the fires seems to have boosted morale.
You heard the angel's command. Let the call sound forth. Bastion's Keep shall not fall.
Following suit, it's our duty to find the remaining signal fires and light them. But as we turn to leave the keep, we see Mayor Hollis. The last time we saw him, he was trying to escape New Tristram with his cart.
The Lord Mayor of New Tristram. What brings you to Bastion's Keep?
Cruel fortune has left me as a lowly merchant once again. And now I'm minutes away from slaughter by the demonic hordes. Please, escort me out of here. I will pay anything.
No place is safe anymore. The world is more dangerous now, and you'll grow used to it. Soon, I hope.
A fun fact in regards to Mayor Hollis is that he's voiced by Paul Iding, the veteran actor who plays the warrior in Diablo 1, narrator, even Pepin the Healer, who the anxious Mayor's voice mirrors in a lot of ways.
What ails you, my friend?
Following the forces out of the keep and across the drawbridge, we're immediately confronted with the Lord of Sin himself.
Your keep will fall.
Adria was saying such pride and arrogance.
Light the signal fire!
It's then the first of the signal fires is lit, and we begin our task of bashing through the horde of demon troopers that bar our path. Wading through the fallen that besiege the keep, we find fallen shaman mid-ritual. We mistakenly deem them a non-threat to our own peril.
Ah, finally, a challenge.
They've managed to summon a colossal Galgor, known for its nasty knockback. It wields 2 huge maces with much proficiency. Yet the light burns its unholy flesh and sends it back whence it came. Dodging debris and the meteors that rain down upon us, we head up the final stairs, final beacon, guarded by the gargantuan hellbearers.
By the light be damned!
Our thorns have a nasty effect underfoot,
You're a welcome sight, hero.
and we light the final signal fire as the foul fiend falls to its doom below. The signal fire is lit and the men rally. Azmodan makes another appearance.
So you're the wretch that's given me such trouble. Thrash as you might, you will not keep me from the Soulstone.
For all of Azmodan's bluster, we are largely unimpressed. However, heeding Adria's very words, the only way he would show his face and be so prideful is if he believed his victory was already at hand. And we swear to ourselves he will burn in the light as our crusade presses on. Post-lighting the signal fires in an attempt to rally the forces of the light against Azmodan's assault on Bastion's Keep, we once again see Tyrael, the Archangel, who says,
I can see the signal fires lit all across the keep and on the battlefield. The defenders rally to the fires. But though the battlements are secured, we have bought ourselves no victory, only time. We need the catapults, but with the demons on the walls, the crews have been unable to raise them.
Then I will remove the demons and raise the catapults myself if I have to.
I am once again filled with the thrill of battle. It has been too long since I have raised my blade against the forces of the burning hells. I remember countless battles within the heart of Pandemonium, as my brethren and I risked everything to drive the demon spawn back to their hells.
Must have been a sight to see.
It was glorious and terrible. We waged our eternal conflict since the light first broke upon creation. But now, for the first time, it feels as if its end is in sight.
Indeed, it does seem as if the conflict will finally come to an end. But will the light or the forces of darkness victor?
Half of the weapons in this heap are covered in rust. What has the quartermaster been doing with his time?
Fighting alongside us for days, you fool.
Even with the signal fires lit, the soldiers are fatigued.
There's 100 other places the demons could come at us. From below, for instance.
You mean up through the keep? The fortifications are even tougher down there.
If the enemies broke in from below, then Leah and Adria would be susceptible. Remembering Leah's struggle, we head inside the armory and see she is visibly waning against the evils trying to escape their imprisonment.
I'm glad this is almost done. I don't think I have much time left.
You can endure this, Leah. Think of your hopes for the future. You're in, perhaps.
No. You were right. There's no safe place for anyone. Look around us. If this keep can't protect us, what chance would a silly little inn have?
Cain would be proud, Leah. Just hold on a little longer and think of your dreams. When this is over and you can build your inn.
The demonic rage is building up again. But I can do this. I know I can. Thank you.
Attempting to ground Leah with a positive thought as she struggles against the forces of hell, we actually garner ourselves to achievements, both of which have to do with listening to conversations with the main cast. But what does Adria think of Leah's plight?
Your daughter suffers. It must be difficult to witness.
Everyone suffers, but to do so for a cause greater than oneself, that is the mark of a true hero. My daughter is everything I hoped she would be.
What uncharacteristically kind words from the witch. Focusing on our objective to raise the catapults, we head back to Stonefort, greeted in turn.
Look, just over there. I never imagined such a creature.
The creature that the Enchantress speaks of is Nizun, the Gorgon. And as far as fallen shaman go, this is a particularly nasty one, blessed with the affixes of teleporter, poison enchanted, and nightmarish. So not only do you get feared, but you run into the snail-like sludge of poison that he just casually trails in his wake before teleporting about, earning a long overdue dirt nap. After felling the fallen foe, the Enchantress then comments,
I am glad that the Seraph Tyrael leads us now.
As am I.
It is as it should be.
Although we agree with the Enchantress, we wouldn't mind having the powerful Sword of Justice, Eldruin, by our side in these trying times. Heading to the northwestern section of the ramparts, we see that our path is blocked.
Thank the heavens you're here. We're down to 4 lads until reinforcements arrive. Trouble is, the lift stopped. We can't see what went wrong through all the muck down there.
This sounds ominous.
Oh, what now?
More of the brutes from below, Captain. What do we do?
Private, if you need to be told which end of the sword goes where, you haven't been paying attention. Fight to your last breath, lads!
It's then we're ambushed by demonic troopers and hellflyers. It was said of the Hellflyers that Azmodan created them specifically after he nearly lost to Tyrael, breeding the winged demons capable of tearing even angels asunder. It's then the lift unexpectedly rises.
The lift is moving again! Hold steady, lads! Reinforcements are on their way!
Half dozen demons rise up from the depths below.
Demons! Get ready, men!
The demons are led by Dragus, Soldier of Hell, a super unique with the electrified and mortar affixes.
Victory!
Both of which prove to fall short against the burning light. With our path clear, we then move west across the bridge, and it's not long before we find the first of the catapults. Contending with a duo of demon troopers, we see Sergeant burrows by the catapult, and he needs our aid, instructing,
You must be the one that lit the signal fires. Help me free the recruits so they can raise this catapult. Over here.
We follow the sergeant northwest, taking care of demon troopers in his wake that have the recruits held hostage in the keep.
Excellent. Let's protect the recruits while they raise the catapult.
As the path is clear and the recruits slip through the grate, we are then confronted by fallen mongrels.
Only you can defeat this monstrosity!
One by one, the recruits spill from the grate, and we contend with the Hellspawn. However, their numbers seem to be unending, and wouldn't you know, they had a plethora of affixes including Mortar, Vortex, Poison Enchanted, and Thunderstorm. But as we're contending with the cantankerous canines, we realize their ploy as we've left the recruits unguarded and they're attacked by more demon spawn. The demons attempt to slow us.
I enjoyed that.
We recognize their feeble ploy and cannot hide our contempt. It's not long after battling the voracious Hellspawn do the recruits succeed in raising the catapults. Sergeant Burrows turns to us and thanks.
With the fires lit and the catapults firing on the battlefield, Bastion's Keep just might hold. You've given us hope. Thank you.
1 down, 3 to go. Heading to the second catapult, it's then the Enchantress warns.
The demon's presence has grown stronger. I can see them everywhere. They are angry now. Leah seemed so weary. I hope that she is holding on.
We will visit her soon.
Worrying about Leah's strength and state of mind, meteors rain down upon us. Time is not our friend. Heading up some stairs and breaking down a flimsy barricade, we see Lieutenant Lavale, who says,
"Scouts report that more of those wretched demon hellbearers will be here any moment. The soldiers need to be protected. The platform will rise more quickly if we don't lose men."
The recruits then enter from a gate in the northeast and were required to defend them, this time against Azmodan's mighty hellbearers. As the recruits get to work, we prepare for the onslaught. The hellbearers are colossal demons originating straight from the depths of hell, and they look much like giant centipedes clinging upon the walls and anchoring with their claws. Once they're in position, they start regurgitating demon troopers who pour forth from the hellbearers' maw in packs of 4 at a time. The total number of demons each hellbearer can transport, thankfully, is finite. But killing the demon will end the reinforcements, as the living siege tower will lose its grasp and fall to the grounds below, thanks to the power of our thorns under claw.
Thanks to your help, we can finally get these catapults firing on the demons on the battlefield. The soldiers out there have a chance now.
Moving between the ramparts, we have but one catapult to find as the fallen begin to flank us. And as we destroy their forces, we find something totally unexpected, not on one of the shaman, but instead the final underling. On its body, we find a legendary sword named Sever, which boasts incredible damage, plus 8% damage to demons, and slain enemies rest in pieces. Equipping the blade, we find the final catapult and Lieutenant Clifton by it.
Lieutenant, are you alone?
Of course I'm bloody well alone. Everyone else has gone and died, but I'll be damned if I'll leave my post. Make yourself useful and spin that winch.
Blizzard's credit, this quest actually features 3 different ways to help people with catapults, breaking up the monotony of the actual quest. If you forget to turn the catapult, Lieutenant Clifton will have some choice words for you.
Oh, my mistake. I thought you came over here to help lift this catapult. I didn't realise you were here for the bloody scenery. I can't believe you're making me do this on my own.
Stay calm. We will aid you when we are ready.
Successfully defending the cranky lieutenant from the monster's attack, he then will implore.
Damn! I promised Captain Ho I'd watch my temper. Do me a favour, and don't mention that I shouted at you a little, alright?
Promising to keep the secret between us, we then portal back to Bastion's Keep and have an unexpected visitor.
While you tinkered with your paltry catapults, my demons breached the depths of your keep. Once Since they've claimed the Black Soulstone for me, your entire world will burn.
It's as we feared. Leah is in trouble, and we have a promise to keep, not just to defend her, as she is the key to containing evil within the Soulstone, but also her dream of an inn when it's all over. With the catapults repulsing the demons' armies from the walls, Azmodan proves tenacious. His sappers have tunneled into the keep's depths. If we don't go down and stop the incursion, they will boil up from the sublevel and kill every man, woman, and child within.
Azmodan's demons have opened an enormous hole in our walls and are flooding into the depths. If it is not closed, the keep will be overrun.
Then I will seal it.
You are a great warrior.
I'd say you know a bit about war yourself.
I do what I can. Imperius himself would have been hard-pressed to hold these walls as long as these soldiers have. This world owes them a great debt.
Imperius?
Imperius is the Archangel of Valor. It is he who commands the legions of the high heavens.
Has the conflict between heaven and hell ever come close to an end?
We thought we had lost everything at the 5th battle of the Diamond Gates. The prime evils and their legions crashed against the very entrance of heaven itself. But one of my most trusted lieutenants, Iswal, turned them back. Still, the day might have been lost had the demon lords not fallen to fighting amongst themselves. So confident of their impending victory, they turned on each other over the spoils they had yet to win. I shudder to think what the demon lords might accomplish should they ever stop betraying one another. Such is the self-defeating nature of evil.
It's then we get word of reinforcements from Westmarch.
I bring word from the King of Westmarch.
Has he agreed to send us reinforcements?
My lord says he will send no living men to battle imaginary demon lords.
Perhaps he'll believe when his kingdom is burnt to ashes around him.
Surely with the destruction that the Lord of Lies caused in Chaldeum, the King of Westmarch must sense that our battle is his as well. Visit Leah down in the armory. Luckily, Azmodan's forces have not breached this area, but we can see the stone's resistance is intensifying.
The stone is vibrating. I can barely hold it. Their voices, they're screaming in my head.
Will Leah be able to resist the stone's evil?
She must. Clearly the stone wasn't built to contain 6 demon lords indefinitely. Only Leah's will holds it together.
Stay strong, Leah. I will kill Azmodan quickly.
I wish we could do more for Leah. Maybe I could hold the stone together for a while.
That is her burden. Ours lies on the battlefield.
Very well.
With time running out, we leave Leah to contend with the demons in the stone. Heading north, we find demons have boiled forth from the keep's northern tower.
The demons are in the keep! They're coming up from the depths! To arms! To arms!
I would ask if you're all right, but I know better.
That was hardly an ambush anyway. Do you remember when the barbarians tried the same thing 30 years ago?
Ha! They tried to steal you away, didn't they? I was frantic until they brought you back 2 hours later with an apology.
I simply reasoned with him. Garma still sends me a bundle of hides sometimes, you know. He was the nicest kidnapper I ever met.
Leaving the soldier and his wife to discuss the barbarians' ongoing gifts, we head down into level 1 of the keep's depths. We then are confronted with the voracious Soul Rippers. We remember reading about them in Kane's journal.
We must face another trial, my friend.
Soul Rippers are the bane of the living, creatures born of the endless malice churning within hell. Agile and swift, the Rippers cover ground quickly by latching onto prey with their enormous tongues, and then leaping on top of their victims. From this point, the Ripper cannot be deterred. It has begun to feast.
We also come across a satchel that gives insight into the life of the barbarians.
I have been fortunate enough to learn much of the barbarians' complicated history in my time. Yet the origins of these large, mighty warriors are hazy at best. Legend holds that they are the offspring of Bull Kathos, an ancient who embodied their ideals of strength, bravery, and courage. The children of Bull Kathos settled in the northern steppes, an area that is now known as the Dreadlands. Theirs was primarily a nomadic and tribal culture, though they had a few permanent settlements such as Cesseron and Harogoth. A group of revered former warriors known as the Elder Council ruled the barbarians. The barbarians have always defended their lands in the north from trespassers. They believe that it is their sacred charge to guard Mount Arreat and the World Stone within it from the outside world. Unfortunately, their battle prowess and tenacity have been misinterpreted as bloodthirst and territorial savagery by soldiers in Westmarch.
Death stalks you!
As we call upon the holy light to burn through Azmodan's forces, we locate his orders on one of his fallen demon troopers.
Minions. The men actually think that they can hide behind their paltry little walls. But they have only had a glimpse of the full host of hell. We will see them drown in our tide of sin. The girl is still weak, and their hero will not expect us to attack from below. Send in the ravening beast.
Wow, Miriam's really not going to appreciate that nickname. Jokes aside, what was Azmodan talking about? Who is this ravening beast? And we must quell their uprisal before they make it to the Soulstone above.
Patience. The crusade marches on!
Having stymied much of the uprising that had occurred in the keep's first couple of levels, we then enter the cold air of the breach. Again, Azmodan appears before us.
You're too late. My servant is already inside your walls, and his hunger is ravenous. He will devour your corpse, and those of your friends.
We see that Azmodan's threat is not idle. Perished troops litter the grounds in the way to the keep's depths. And upon entry in the northeastern wall, we find a scroll that outlines the history of Bastion's Keep itself.
Many centuries ago, King Corsic built Bastion's Keep to pen the barbarian threat in the north. After years of military disasters, the frustrated king led a large out of the fortress and into the north to conquer the barbarians once and for all. Not one of them came back.
Our trials have been few up until this point. Azmodan will make his move soon. The blood of innocents flows over our path.
Inside the breached keep, we see blood and gore strewn about the hallways, reminiscent of our time against the Butcher. And at the end of a northeastern hall, there lies the larder. The stench of rotting flesh is almost overwhelming. The enchantress then warns.
The demon. He's here.
The one who killed Lord Belial. I will savor, tearing the flesh from your bones.
The gate behind us abruptly closes, and we have no choice but to defend ourselves. For his size, the Lord of Gluttony moves surprisingly quickly, but his attacks are very slow. Of the 4 attacks, we are bombarded with gas clouds. This creates 2 clouds of gas that deal average poison damage over time. The damage of each cloud grows as the player stands in it. The second ability is Bile Spew, spraying players in a mid-ranged cone in front of Gome with acid, dealing high poison damage over 2 seconds. The third ability, Slime, is a long-range attack that deals slight poison damage and spawns 2 disgusting slimes on enemies that continuously attack the player. Once both are killed, they drop a guaranteed health globe. This attack is used with no regards as to whether a foe is in melee range or not. And the final ability, Bite, is a regular melee attack and deals slight to average physical damage. The northeastern end of the room, we find a half-eaten guard, and on his corpse, Gom's own log.
The human prisoners are panicking now. They must have noticed that fresh meat only comes after one of their number is dragged away, screaming. This will not hold. Slaughter the ones who starve themselves and feed them to their hungry friends. When those ones are fully stuffed, I will be ready to die.
After a long and arduous battle, the demon begins to fatigue and has had his fill of our blade, accompanied by lashings of the light. Gom, upon defeat, erupts in a putrid mess and soils himself. Ichor and noxious gas ooze from his body. We collect up the goods that we find he swallowed previously and head back to town, where Azmodan awaits.
I'm returning to town.
Empty victory over a useless tool. You have only delayed your inevitable destruction. Your walls have grown no stronger. Our assault continues unabated. The stone will still be mine.
Even after losing his lieutenant, Azmodan is as confident as ever. However, Leah can only hold on so long, and a war of attrition has begun. Contending with the breach in the keep by quelling the uprising spearheaded by the gluttonous gastropod known as Gome, we re-emerge in Bastion Keep's stronghold and sense something's amiss. Where the Archangel Tyrael once stood is Lieutenant Levail, who informs.
Terrifying noises were coming from the armory, so Tyrael went to investigate. He said if you were to return, I should send you there.
The armory? But, oh no, the Black Soulstone. We race to the armory and are met by a harrowing scene.
I am losing control!
All but Leah, Adria, and Tyrael are destroyed by a wave of destructive power that emanates from the Soulstone. We are set upon by the terror spawn summoned from the stone itself. Massacring the remnants of terror, we then check on Leah, who appears to be heavily fatigued, but we're unsure if she's hurt.
The Soulstone seems stable now.
The demon's rage has been subdued.
Yes, but for how long? Our time grows short. We must take this fight to Azmodan.
Then we shouldn't waste time discussing it. I will break their battle lines, enter the crater, and end this.
Leah then resumes her incantation, holding the demons at bay, lest they escape once more. And it's then we turn to Adria and query, can the war really be ended?
The last of the great evils will soon be defeated. What will you do then?
This war will never end for me. Even if we defeat all evil forever, I will carry the scars of this nightmare till the end of my days.
And Leah?
I wish Leah could have the life I never had. But in truth, I fear she'll be damned as well.
I disagree.
We then turn to Tyrael for advice on our next move, and he imparts.
Can you feel the keep shuddering? Azmodan's siege weapons. Saving these walls will have meant nothing if they're reduced to rubble.
I'll shatter those weapons before that happens.
We will not fail you, Seraph.
Tell me more of the eternal conflict.
Since time immemorial, the forces of heaven and hell fought for control of the sacred World Stone, until the day it was stolen by renegades and used to forge your world. Since then, the forces of hell became more interested in corrupting mankind than in facing us on the field of battle.
They wished to turn humanity into a weapon?
They knew that mankind would tip the balance of power forever. And very clearly, you have.
What do you know of the creation of our world?
To escape the eternal conflict, a group of renegade angels and demons came together and created a hidden paradise for themselves. They called this world Sanctuary. Eventually, they commingled. They gave birth to mankind. That is why you have both good and evil within you, and the power of both realms as your birthright. The power of your Nephilim ancestors was so terrifying to their parents that they tuned the World Stone to weaken them. They knew they had loosed something unimaginable upon creation.
Tremors in the Stone is a short quest and has already been completed. I thought we would take time before we head into Ariat Crater and speak to some of the citizens in Bastion Keep as a rare opportunity to hear their dialogue.
I told you, Marcus. I told you the demons would find a way up from underneath.
I heard that hero slaughtered a huge fat one in a larder. I'm never eating anything from there again.
Hold on. There he goes.
We hear you heading out onto the battlefields. We'll hold the gates, but I don't think you need us to.
We all do our part. Without you, this keep would have fallen before I got here.
When this is all over, we should have a family.
A what?
Children, Drian. We can have children.
That sounds wonderful. I think I'm needed back on the wall.
No, I wouldn't be surprised if he didn't come back on purpose at this rate.
Let's play Defend the Keep! No. Why not? Because you want me to be the fat demon he killed.
Things are looking up, Martyr. There's barely anything left to kill.
I knew you could do it.
There are other soldiers about besides me, if you haven't noticed.
No, I haven't.
And finally, we get to speak to my favorite former Mayor, Hollis.
Now's the time to run, isn't it? While there's a lull in the fighting?
I don't know much about fleeing. I'll trust your expertise.
Gotta love a good servant of the public. Got their own interests at the forefront till the bitter end. It's then we head towards the Ariat Crater Gate. Bodies litter the path, and we sense our fight with Azmodan will soon come to a head.
Bastion's keep stands tall. Now I go to the battlefield, where Azmodan's war machines bombard our scattered soldiers.
Passing through the Ariat Gate, we see the walls are constantly bombarded and cannot maintain the destruction for much longer. From our perch above, we see the battle below rages on. A demonic hellbearer is pinned to the wall. It's more aghast as it's held aloft by all manner of spears and spiked objects. And the forces of Bastion Keep continue to fend off the demon troopers.
We shall soon defeat Azmodan, and the Lords of Hell will be a mere memory.
What a nourishing thought in this hell-forsaken battlefield. Sergeant Pale then instructs.
Thank the gods you're here. You've got to destroy those ballistae. They're raining hell down upon us. We can't last much longer.
Then tasked to take down the ballistae, but must first cross the Bridge of Corsic. Speaking of sick, we then come across some of the wounded in a forward medic camp.
I can't take the pain. Please!
You think we're all just waiting around for you to save us, hero? Well, I've secured this post. I don't need your help.
Please, save us! These men are helpless!
Screeching, winged Molochs then pour forth, and we're forced to defend the camp at large, lest they feast on the sick and infirmed.
What is that? Something's below us. Can't you feel it?
Rising up from the ground are Heralds of Pestilence, led by a super unique Hand-up. We remember of these heralds from our journal, which reads,
Long ago, the Heralds of Pestilence were lesser demons who rebelled against Azmodan. The Lord of Sin vanquished them easily, but instead of slaying them, he granted each one a long arm, infested with a poison that could kill anything but Azmodan himself. The heralds have been plague-riddled menaces ever since.
With the camp now safe, we speak to Nurse Milana, who thanks.
Your bravery is an inspiration to us all. May Akarat bless you.
After trudging through the snow-laden battlefield, to the northeast we find a messenger of Azmodan and more of his orders.
Minions, my brothers grow impatient within the Soulstone. Yes, I can hear them, even down here. Their voices are so pitiful and small that they almost amuse me. Yet, they are my prize, not the Nephilims, or the girls for that matter. This is not her time. This is the age of sin.
As then we finally find the Bridge of Corsair.
Bridge is unsteady. We must be swift.
After swiftly stepping across the sinking structure, we then find the Fields of Slaughter. And but a stone's throw away is the demonic ballista. Firing tri-pronged projectiles at the keep, we dutifully destroy it before searching out the others. To the northeast, we find Raucous Crossing. With the trebuchet still in place, Lieutenant Rael informs.
We'll hold this bridge as long as we can, but you must clear out those war machines behind us.
2 steps forward, 1 step back. It's not long to the south before we find a gnarled crack in the earth.
This trebuchet is an abomination. We must destroy it.
Drawing from the crater below is the trebuchet, which we destroy.
I do not need my siege weapons to slay you. You stand in the middle of the army of hell. It will crush you.
Rally your defenses, demon. You'll need them.
With Azmodan's siege weapons broken, we head back to Raucous Crossing. There we find Tyrael, who informs.
I could no longer sit idly by while you brought the fight to Azmodan. It has been too long since I felt the thrill of battle myself.
Destroying my siege weapons makes little difference. Every hour, more of my forces pour forth from the mouth of hell. Soon, they will wipe your pathetic keep from existence.
Brave words, Azmodan. But words are all you have left to hurl at us. Forward, friend! Now we shall drive Azmodan's army back into the accursed crater.
Let's hope that sword was worth the sacrifice. Forward!
You honor us, Seraph.
The battle is ours.
After destroying Azmodan's ballista, we head across Raucous Bridge, now with the Archangel Tyrael by our side, and in search of the entrance to Ariad Crater. It's not long after battling the forces of hell do we find one Private James slumped by some stairs, holding his wounded side, and he explains.
I'm just a scout. I was supposed to survey the battlefield from this tower along with my lieutenant, but we were attacked. I still have the spyglass here. Please, take it to my lieutenant. I don't know how long he'll be able to hold out up there.
Doing as the private instructs, we climb the stairs with spyglass in it, looking for his lost lieutenant and scrubbing forces of hell off the tower. Ascending the stairs, a demonic hellbarrow looms over us, spewing out its demon troopers, led by the super unique Buzzsaw, eater of man flesh. We cut their feast short, casually lopping off the demon's head with our axe. With the keep now clear, we approach Lieutenant Griffin with the spyglass in hand.
What happened to the scout? Is he still alive?
He is gravely injured. You will have to go on alone.
I see. Thank you for the news. I will tell his family.
Duty done, we turn to leave the lieutenant and—
Look out!
That poor man.
He's eviscerated where he stood. Adding insult to injury, we then see Private James has perished during our time aiding his ill-fated lieutenant. As we push forward across Rakus Bridge, I wanted to do something a little bit different this episode. During filming, I found the final piece of the biography of the Crusaders, so instead of the normal narration, I thought this is a rare opportunity to play all 9 parts for a great backstory before we contend with the Lord of Sin.
In the eastern kingdom of Khejistan, I heard rumors of Zakarum warriors called Crusaders. While the natives were most reticent, I was able to deduce that this order was founded 200 years ago, just as Rakis took his army of paladins west. But these Crusaders went east on a very different mission. My studies indicate that a high-level cleric of the Zakarum named Akan began to sense the corruption that was eating away at the heart of his faith. He knew this corruption would eventually destroy his beloved church, and that he must take action. After much prayer, Akan hit upon the idea of an order of crusaders. Akan gathered the most devout, driven, and martial Zakarum adherents. He taught them to channel the power of light in the same way that the newly founded paladins were being trained. But these recruits, these crusaders, were given insight into the primal powers of Zakarum in a way no paladin ever was. When the Crusaders had learned all they could, Akan sent them out into the world, seeking a way to cleanse the corruption that coiled at the heart of the Zakarum faith. There was no clear goal for them to pursue, and some clerics claimed it was a fool's errand, that they could never succeed. But these Crusaders would not be deterred. The Crusaders swore an oath to dedicate their lives to the search. None believed that they would be the one to end the crusade by finding and cleansing the corruption. They believed the search ennobled them, that the discipline of their life and journey was the true goal. The Crusader was meant to find meaning in the quest itself. Each and every Crusader was a warrior of rare strength. They had mastered the power of light, of weapon and shield, and of self. Each was sworn to live as a Crusader and to die as one. 200 years ago, they took their apprentices and set out into the eastern swamplands. They were never heard from again. Until now. Rumors swirl that the Crusaders have returned, and that they mean to go to the west. But who are these tall, blonde warriors? They look nothing like the Crusaders who set out from Travancore 200 years ago, and those who inhabit the ruins of that ancient city suspect trickery. I recently met a returning Crusader, and now I understand. Each Crusader took an apprentice. When a Crusader fell, his apprentice would take up his armor, his place in the order, and even his very name. When the first generation of Crusaders fell, their own apprentices took up their identities, and so it has continued for 200 years. Of the original 427 Crusaders who disappeared into the east, 341 return. Do they still seek the redemption of their faith? How will they react to the destruction of the city that birthed their crusade? Will they continue west to the lands of Westmarch? What does their return portend?
After battling our way across Rakus Bridge, we finally find the chained gate to the edge of the abyss.
Eldruin will destroy the demonic seal protecting this gate.
Tyrael has unwittingly unleashed one of Hell's most fearsome of foes. Siegebreakers are massive demons that are the most prized champion of all demon lords because of their massive size and strength, enough to turn any battle in their master's favor. Siegebreakers boast many devastating abilities, including slash attack, swiping its claws at the hero while its other attacks are on cooldown, ground pound, where it will pound the ground with its claws, dealing damage and knocking back the hero who's unable to avoid the hit. Charge, where the Siegebreaker will attempt to charge at a distant hero, rapidly covering ground and causing high damage and knockback to all caught within its path. Should this charge kill someone, all that will remain is a bloodied skeleton. Then there is Trample, which the Siegebreaker will rise menacingly before hitting the ground with its sheer mass. This causes knockback and average damage to all nearby foes. And finally, armies of hell, where the Siegebreaker will summon hellbearers to its side, calling upon the holy light and thorns underfoot. We finally fell the foul foe.
Whoever named you chose poorly.
A victory for the ages!
The Siegebearer's crumpled body begins to smoke, blacken and char as it sets itself ablaze. Collecting the items off its corpse, we then turn to see Adria, who informs.
I come with urgent news. Leah has had another vision. A vision of twisted demonic towers and enormous hearts beating within them.
I know of them. They are the Sin Hearts. Azmodan must have dredged them up from the depths of his realm to empower his legions.
Then I'll stop his hearts and his legions. The demon gate is shattered, and the armies of hell await, empowered by vile sin hearts. I will slay them all, until only the Lord of Sin remains, and then I will slay him too.
Upon our arrival in the Ariat crater, we see a demonic influence has taken hold. So then a demon's voice calls from the shadow.
You've killed one of my playthings. Now, you have my undivided attention.
Another demon. She will die like the rest of them.
That must be Sedea, Maiden of Lust, that we read about in Cain's journal.
Though Azmodan is close to all of his lieutenants, Sedea is his special favorite. The Maiden of Lust is both beautiful and grotesque in appearance, with the torso of a woman and the legs of a spider. Her voice is said to be as smooth as honey, but she only speaks words of death.
As if on purpose, we find the orders from Azmodan to Sedea on one of his messengers.
Maiden of Lust, I have need of your ample services. Drag yourself out of whatever carnal corner of the burning hells you lounge in, and bring your daughters with you. Be wary. The enemy has proven to be both cunning and strong. But the mortals have always been easy prey for you, have they not?
So Sedea is Azmodan's lapdog. Haven't we already killed one half spider woman before? Moving deeper into the crater, we see that demonic influence has overwhelmed the entire landscape, a disturbing revelation for the Enchantress.
This is an abomination. Azmodan has brought pieces of hell into our world, along with his demonic host.
Well, the pact between heaven and hell staying out of Sanctuary has long been broken, and leave it to the Lord of Sin to make himself at home prematurely.
Nephilim, your misbegotten kind is creation's greatest sin. But your time is done. You will find only death in my realm.
But if we're creation's greatest sin, was Azmodan admiring us on some level? We'll make sure to ask him when we reach the heart of Ariat Crater. Descending into the Tower of the Damned, chains hold Azmodan's new demonic decor aloft, and we see one of Sedea's vile playthings.
These poor things live in eternal torment.
These poor things, as she puts it, are flayed ones. They earn their unholy moniker as their skin is ripped from their flesh and is used to decorate the very floors that we walk on. Exploring deeper into the crater, Sedea continues her taunts.
Your presence pleases me. Every step brings you closer to my embrace.
This demon is very strange.
It seems that nobody's taught the Enchantress the art of seduction, though her midriff says otherwise. It's not long before we're introduced to Sedea's daughters, the succubi, as we edge nearer to her location.
Oh, you've met my daughters, I see. Are you enjoying their company?
You're gonna get a resounding no from us. Worse yet, we've run afoul of the hulking phase beasts.
The Herodric Scrolls describe hulking phase beasts as sin made flesh, Azmodan granted them great power, allowing the beasts to shift in and out of sight at will. It is believed that the Lord of Sin only looses the phase beasts against uncommonly clever enemies who cannot be bested with tooth and claw.
Hearing the screams of the flayed one echo throughout the crater, Sadea remarks on the sweetness of the sound.
The chains tear at their flesh. Hear their screams. Such sweet music.
Done with her foreplay of the first Sin Heart, Sadea then reveals herself to us.
Oh, you are so eager. I suppose I should introduce myself. I am Sadea, Maiden of Lust, Consort of Azmodan.
Sadea then goes about spewing vile poison, pestilent and plague at us, but we find very quickly she's just toying with us.
How invigorating. Play with my daughters. I do not wish to tire you out.
Your screams of anguish will sound so sweet.
Sadea then leaves us to contend with her succubus daughters. Once disposed of, we hack at the vile Sin Heart.
Well done.
I can feel the blood hemorrhaging from the Sin Heart. Oh, you will pay for this.
As we descend the crater, hacking through hordes of demons, Sadea's taunts start to become more frequent, and for expedience sake, I'm just going to cut into each of the taunts before we finally face the Maiden of Lust.
All the pain and suffering you're enduring. You must be dying to meet me. So close now. So close.
Even Azmodan stops to talk up his favorite maiden's abilities.
You think you know pain, Nephilim? You think you know anguish? Soon my concubine will show you their true meaning.
I do hope you're not in over your head.
Why must she be so disgusting?
Oh, the things I'm going to do to you.
You have interesting tastes.
Me? What did I do? It's not like we signed up for this. However, we soon find some poor wretches that did, being mind-controlled by the succubus as submissive prisoners. Unfortunate men that must have succumbed to the hateful harpies. Once freeing them, they thank.
My mind is my own again.
Naked, bruised, and tortured, they help turn on their captors as we snuff out the remaining succubus with their aid.
To pay for my freedom, I have only my own flesh and blood. Come, the Maiden of Lust lurks below. Sadea, the Maiden of Lust, lured us with her damned promises. I'll never forget what she made me do.
If we gave you a pen and paper, could you draw it for us? Jokes aside, men can be abused just as women can, especially by succubus. As we pass by more of Sadea's poor and wretched playthings, the flayed ones, we then head into her accursed lair.
Oh yes, I've been looking forward to this.
Our path now barred by burning chains, our only hope is to fell Sadea, the Maiden of Lust, if we're to destroy the final Sin Heart.
Why are you trying to hurt me? You will beg for mercy, and I will laugh.
Tired of her games, Sadea decides it's time for our tryst to end.
Shh. I eat you now.
Unfortunately for Sadea, she's really not our type.
No!
With Sadea now sedated, we destroy Azmodan's final Sin Heart. With our path now clear, we head into the heart of Sin to confront Azmodan himself.
Ash chokes the air and our enemies come for us in droves. Yet you are undaunted. This truly is your destiny.
At the heart of Ariat Crater, we descend the final stairs and find ourselves in a round, large arena where Azmodan awaits.
Nephilim, fool. When the Soulstone is embedded in my flesh, the seven shall be as one within me. I will be the sum of all hells, the prime evil.
Once again, we're locked in the arena by burning chains and glyphs that hold them in place and must face the Lord of Sin on his terms. He hurls giant fireballs at us and we think that we have an advantage due to his slow speed and size, but then he rains down a cacophony of flesh down upon us. Sensing that we may have some form of upper hand, Azmodan then calls forth his minions in a desperate attempt to quell our advancement.
Arrogant Nephilim, my servants will feast on your pride as they devour your flesh.
Azmodan then uses his eye laser attack, channeled in continuous beam, and as we try and escape it, we're then pushed into his pools of destruction which damage underfoot. Dodging Azmodan's next raining corpses and his demons not so lucky, we then focus down the Lord of Sin, who succumbs to our holy might.
Enough!
The soul of Azmodan floats before us. We can hardly believe it. With the final evil at bay, we can now trap them in the Black Soulstone and potentially end evil forever.
We've done it! Quickly now, Leah! Trap Azmodan's essence within the Soulstone!
It's done!
I never dared dream. All evil lies trapped within that stone. Once it is destroyed, the eternal conflict will finally end.
Destroying the stone is no simple matter. There are rituals to consider. We must return to the keep and make our final preparations.
Leah and our companions then return to Bastion's keep to start whatever incantations needed to destroy the Black Soulstone. We, however, pause for a moment to pick up the legendary belt that Azmodan dropped, named Razor Strop, which has the attribute of picking up health globes, which will release an explosion that deals 353% weapon damage to enemies in a 20-yard radius.
I'm returning to town.
Happy to leave the heart of sin behind, we head back to Bastion's keep and see outside the portal Lieutenant Levail, who congratulates.
An incredible victory. I knew Azmodan could never stand up to the likes of you.
Where are Adria, Leah, and Tyrael?
They're all in the armory, no doubt celebrating. You should join them.
Before joining them, we see what the citizens have to say, now free of evil.
Bloody leaping hell. I just heard he defeated the demon army's general.
That means we're going home. We can go home.
Well, Marta, that demon lord is dead. Time to move on.
I'll go pack my knitting.
There he goes.
Hooray! Our savior!
Did you hear? The battle is over. The demons are fleeing. We can go home.
Oh, bless him. Bless him for what he's done for us.
Azmodan is dead!
How in hell did we live to see this?
What a great day indeed. We head inside the armory and see a trail of blood, gore and carnage strewn about. Leah, Tyrael and Adria are nowhere in sight, but bodies are eviscerated, and the trail leads up to the Bastion's Keep watchtower, where a grisly scene unfolds.
Adria, when did you decide to betray us?
20 years ago, a great and terrible power drew me to Tristram. But Aiden, Leoric's eldest son, defeated that power and sought to contain it within his own flesh.
The Dark Wanderer.
It was Diablo I saw within him, and I pledged myself to his service. Now, at last, his grand design comes to fruition. Dear Leah, Deckard always suspected your true father was Diablo himself. And now, my daughter, you shall serve as his vessel.
I live. But I am more than I once was. The 7 evils are now one within me. I am the prime evil. Well done, faithful Adria. Go now, until I call upon you again. Now, at last, to my true goal, the one that has always eluded me. The utter destruction of the high heavens.
Hell's bloody bells. Adria, the betrayer, used her own daughter as a surrogate for the Lord of Terror. Her sins won't go unpunished, but first, we must follow Tyrael into the portal to heaven and beyond.
Even in the heart of heaven, angels can still feel fear.
My old enemy. You cannot hide from me, no matter what form you choose to wear. Let your true self be revealed. Diablo. Today, Imperius.